यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजन रञ्जन जमुनातीरवनचारी जय कुञ्ज विहारी जमुनातीरवनचारी जय कुञ्ज विहारी यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजन रञ्जन जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज विहारी गोपीजन बाला जय गिरिवर धारी गोपीजन बाला जय गिरिवर धारी यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजन रञ्जन जमुनातीरवनचारी जय कुञ्ज विहारी जमुनातीरवनचारी जय कुञ्ज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज विहारी गोपीजन बाला जय गिरिवर धारी गोपीजन बाला जय गिरिवर धारी यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजन रञ्जन Ranjana Yasodanandana Jaya Brajjana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jamuna Tiravachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yasodanandana Jaya Brajjana Ranjana
Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Mahamsa Paribhajaracha Dastakari Smavati Tam Saraswati Swami Bhagavati Jaya Ananda Kodi Vaishnavati Jaya Ramacharya Srila Thakurji Jaya Names of the Hosi Krishna Sri Radha Krishna Bhogavna Sam Kund Radha Kundri Jaya Vrindavan Dham ki Jaya Navadvip Dham ki Jaya Ganga Mai ki Jaya Jamuna Mai ki Jaya Guru Dwarka Dham ki Jaya Swami Bhaktivinoda ki Jaya All glories to the All glories to the Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna devotees, Happy New Year to you all. Welcome to Hare Krishna Africa platform. Today is 1st of January, year 2024. We welcome you to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We're happy to have Your Holiness, KAVICANDRA Swami Maharaj, Please accept our respectful obeisances. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for your inspiration and guidance. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. So you're welcome, Maharaj. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, whatever that means. Let's talk about that. It's an interesting concept.
Exactly. Okay, Maharaj, I'll put the verse on the screen and we can start.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye. Okay. So I forget how we normally do it. Sarge,
Sarge,
Tapo,
Tapo,
Aham,
Aham,
Ishayo,
Rishayo,
Isayo,
Navaye,
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 Prajesha,
Rajeshaha,
Rajesa,
Staneta,
Stane Taha,
Dharma,
Stanita,
Maka, Man, Vamarabani Shaha,
Dharma,
Dhamma,
Maka,
Maka, Mano, Amara,
Marava,
Vaneshaha,
Shaha,
Ante Tu,
Antitu,
Adharma, Hara, Manu, Vasan, Suraja,
Adharma,
Adama,
Hara,
Hara,
Manya,
Manyo, Vasa, Surabhya,
Maima, Vibhutaya,
Maya,
Maya, Vibhutaya,
Utaya,
Imaha,
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 Pura Shakti,
Guru,
Purukshakti,
Sakti,
Bhaja,
Bajaha,
Bhaja,
Vajaha,
Sarge Tapoham Rishayo Navaye Prajeshtane Ta,
Sarage Tapa
Ajita
Aham
Poham,
Rishayo
Chayo,
Navaye
Navaye,
Prajesha
Praja, Siha,
Dharma Makanman Vamara Vanisha Ante Tu,
Staneta,
Sanit Ata
Mata,
Dharma Makamano Amara Vanesha
Adharma Hara Manu Vasasuraja,
Ante tu Adama, Saru,
Dharma Aramanyu
Aramanyu,
Vasu
Vasu,
Saradya
Surahaya,
Maya Vibhutaya Ima Pura Shakti Daja.
Maya
Maya
Vibhutaya
Vibhutaya
Imam
Imam
Purushakti
Bhakti Jaha
Bajaha
Kind of a tricky one. Sarge Tapoham Rishayo Navaye Prajeshtane Ta.
Sarage Tapu Aham Shayo Navaye Prajesha
Dharma Makka Man Bamara Banisha Anteta
Stane
Ste Dhamma
Ata Dharma Maka Mano Amara Vanesha
Adharma Haramanyu Vishanu Raja
Ante tu Adama Haramayu Vasa Suradia
Maya Vibhutaya Ima Pura Shakti Bhaja
Maya
Maya
Vibhutaya
Vibhutaya
Imaha
Ima
Purusakti
Purushakti
Bhaja.
Vajaha.
Okay, anyone else want to go for it?
Sarage
By
Tapo
tongue.
Aham Rishayo Navaye Prajeshaha.
Sange Tapo Hamrisayo Naveya Prajesaha.
Stane Dharma Maka Manu Amaravanisha.
Stane Tadama Maka Manu Amara Vanesaha.
Antetu Adarama Aramanyu Vasa Suradya.
Ante tu Adama Haramayu Pasa Surarya.
Maya Vibhutaya Ima Purushakti Bhaja.
Maya Vibhutaya Imaha Purusakti Bhajaha. Sange Tapoham Resayo Nava Ye Praja Seha.
Sarage Tapo Aham Rishayo Navaye Prajesha.
Staneta Dhamma Makamano Amara Vanesaha.
Stane Dharma Maka Manu Amaravanisha.
Ante tu Adama Haramayu Pasa Surarya.
Antetu Adarama Aramanyu Vasa Suradya.
Maya Vibhutaya Imaha Purusakti Bhajaha.
Maya Vibhutaya Imam Purusha Sakti Bhaja.
Baiklah.
Word for word. Sarge,
Sarage.
in the beginning of the creation.
In the beginning
In
of
the
the
beginning of the
creation.
creation.
Tapa,
Tapaha.
Tapa.
Penance.
aham,
Aham.
Aham.
myself.
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 Vijaya,
Rishayaha.
Vishaya.
sages.
Sages.
Serves.
Nava,
Nada.
9.
9.
9.
Ye, Prajeka,
Ye Prajeshaha.
those who would generate.
Those who will generate.
Stane,
Stane.
in the middle while maintaining the creation.
In the middle of while maintaining the creation.
Atta, certainly.
Atta, certainly.
Dharma,
Dharma,
religion.
religion.
Maka,
Maka,
Lord Vishnu.
Lord Vishnu.
Lord Vishnu.
Manu,
Manu,
Manu.
father of mankind.
the father of
Father of
mankind.
mankind.
Amara,
Amaraha,
the demigods deputed to control the affairs of maintenance.
the demigods deputed to control the affairs of maintenance.
The demigod deputed to control the affairs of maintenance.
Avanisha,
Avani Asha,
and the kings of different planets.
and the king of different planets.
Ante,
Ante,
at the end.
at the hand.
At the end.
Two,
But.
Adharma,
Adahama,
irreligion.
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 Hara, Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva.
Ara, Lord Shiva.
Manuvasa,
Manyu
Vasa.
Vasa,
Vasa.
subjected to anger.
Subjected to anger.
Asura,
Asura.
Asura Adya,
atheists, the
Asura.
enemies of devotees.
atheists,
Atheists,
the enemies of the devotees.
devotees.
Maya, energy.
Maya, energy.
Maya.
Vibhutaya,
Vibhutaya,
powerful
Maya energy.
representatives.
powerful representatives.
Imaha,
Imaha,
Maha.
Imaha, all of them.
Maha.
all of
All
them.
of them.
Pura Shakti Bhaja
Pura
Purushakti,
Shakti
Aha,
Bhaja
of the Supreme Powerful Lord.
of the Supreme
of the
Powerful
Supreme
Lord.
Powerful Lord.
At the beginning of the creation, there are penance, myself, Brahma, and the 9 Prajapatis, the great sages who generate them during the maintenance of creation. Then the Prajapatis, the great sages who generate, semicolon. Then, during the maintenance of the creation, there are Lord Vishnu, the demigods with controlling powers, and the kings of different planets. But at the end, there is irreligion, and then the Lord Shiva and the atheist full of anger, etc. All of them are different manifestations of the energy of the supreme power, the Lord. That's very interesting. Okay, let's go repeat bit by bit.
At the beginning,
At the beginning of the creation, there are penance,
The beginning of
The
creation,
beginning
the
of
penance,
creation,
myself, Brahma,
myself,
myself,
Brahma,
Brahma,
and 9 Prajapatis, the great sages who generate,
and the
and
Prajapatis, the great
Prajapatis,
sages
the
who
great
generate.
sages.
then during the maintenance of the creation,
Then,
And
during the maintenance of the creation,
there are Lord Vishnu, the demigods with controlling powers, and the kings of different planets.
there are Lord
There are
Vishnu, the
Lord
demigods,
Vishnu,
controlling powers, and
controlling
kings
power, the kings
of different planets.
Then Lord Shiva and the atheist full of anger.
But at the end, there is irreligion,
And
and
at
then
the
Lord
end,
Shiva
there is
and the
religion,
atheist full of
then Lord
anger.
Shiva and the full of anger.
All of them are different representative manifestations of the energy of the supreme power, the Lord.
All of them
All
are
of
different
them are different
representatives,
representatives,
manifestation of the energy of the
of
supreme
the
power,
energy of
the
the
Lord.
supreme power, the Lord.
Report by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Yeah,
The material created by the energy of the Lord, which is manifested in the beginning of the creation by the penance of Brahmaji, the first living being in the creation. Then there are 9 Prajapatis, known as the great sages. In the stage when the creation is maintained, there are devotional service to Lord Vishnu, or factual religion, the different demigods, and the kings of different planets who maintain the world. At last, when the creation is preparing to wind up, there is first the principle of irreligion, then Lord Shiva, along with the atheist, full of anger, but all of them are but different manifestations of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahadev, Shiva are different incarnations of different modes of material nature. Vishnu is the Lord of the mode of goodness. Brahma is the Lord of the mode of passion, and Shiva is the Lord of the mode of ignorance. Ultimately, the material creation is but a temporary manifestation meant to give a chance of liberation to the conditioned souls who are entrapped in the material world, and one who develops the mode of goodness under the protection of Lord Vishnu has the greatest chance of being liberated by following the Vaishnava principles and thus being promoted to the kingdom of God, no more to return to this miserable material world. Om Gana Timirandasya Kananjana Shalakaya Chaksuramilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desa Tarane Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Bhacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnave Bhyo Namaha. Okay, thank you all for coming. Sorry, timing, and I got notice late, so we had to change the time. But it's New Year's Day also, so many people are holiday and off or gone. So Happy New Year. I was thinking about that. It's kind of nice to say Happy New Year. I think people are meaning, have a good year. Not like just Merry Christmas. Okay, have one nice day. Happy birthday. Happy Mother's Day. Happy this day or that day. Only one day. What about the rest of the year? I don't care about. So at least this Happy New Year, I think most people mean, have a good year. And I don't know, in Africa, they probably follow the New Year resolution idea. Do they do that? People think today, okay, I'm going to quit smoking, or I'm going to lose weight, or, I'm going to work out, I'm going to study, or whatever, and generally people don't keep those resolutions. This is the statistics. But it's a good idea. But I just read what Prabhupada, I looked up New Year years ago. And when he met non-devotees, he would say Happy New Year. Somebody wrote, give him Happy New Year. He'd say Happy New Year to you. He wouldn't give a lecture or anything. But his statement, it was on a morning walk, every day is a new year. Nava Yovana. Our Krishna consciousness is so nice. The more you advance, you see that new year, that's all. Nothing is old. It's a new day. It's a new, like children, everything is new for them. So they're fascinated by everything. And that's how we have to become like a child. Or Jesus said, you have to become like a child. You have to be submissive, to chant my rounds again. And I've chanted so many rounds already, or, I don't need to go to Mangal Artik anymore. I already did that. But then in a good mood, we're excited to chant. We're excited to go to Mangal Artik. Usually devotees are, at least for prasadam, But, Bhakti Vinod said that every day is a new life's experience. When I taste the prasadam and when I hear the mridanga or whatever, it's like a new life. It's always like something I never experienced before. When you read the Bhagavad Gita, actually, the more we read it over and over again, the more we think this is wonderful, this is new. Oh, I haven't, this is something new. Because Krishna is ever increasing, and he lets us enter into, being with him and understanding him, the more we try. So, New Year, this is I just heard someone explaining in India, the New Year's Day was traditionally in March or something. It's like the first day of spring or something like that, when the crops the flowers come out and everything starts to come to life. And that's the New Year. But then some 500 years ago or something, the British king, who I guess at the time was influential, whenever it wasn't that many years, but he decided that January 1st should be New Year's Day because that was his birthday. So he made a new law, and that's how January 1st became New Year's Day. Now most of the world follows it, and everybody has their holidays, and everybody gets drunk on the night before. Seems, it's not a very good way to end the year and begin the year by just getting drunk and falling on the ground or smashing your car or something. But we should be introspective. In Japan, they have a party called Bonen Kai. Nen means year. It means something like forget the previous year. Let's start fresh. We made a lot of mistakes. Okay. Maybe we didn't treat each other properly, but let's forget all that. Let's get together. Let's work. Next year is going to be much better. And the company has a party, think like that. And then when they go back to work on the 4th or something, they don't start working right away. They just go around being really nice to each other and encouraging each other that this year is going to be great. We're going to sell so many cars more. We're going to, make new technology, or we're going to do something. So devotees also, usually we had the book marathon, they get together, have a party to celebrate all the books that were distributed and remember, and we want to do more and more every year, whatever it is. In America anyway, New Year's Eve is a big party night. People are out late. They stay up till midnight out partying. And so it's a great time for Harinam Sankirtan. People are in a really good mood, drunk, and they join the kirtan, and everybody has a thing. Even in Japan, they also celebrate on this time. And then so many things happen, but usually people don't really get off to a good start. The first of the year, they're still hungover or just bored, thinking, another year, I'm older. We should get older and wiser, but every minute, every second is new, every mantra, every sloka, it's like my godbrother Jayananda was a good example. After kirtan, he'd always say, that was the best kirtan ever, that was the best kirtan. And devotees say, but you said yesterday was the best kirtan. He said, that was the best. And then prasadam, every time, this is the best prasadam I ever had. He said it every time. And devotees would say, well, you said that yesterday. He said, yeah, that was the best also. And he was not just, faking it, trying to encourage devotees. He was experiencing on that level. So the Prabhupada liked him very much. The Prabhupada was ever fresh. There's no boredom in Krishna consciousness. We're doing the same thing, but doing the same thing regularly is that's how we progress. Walking You just keep taking one step. We can only take one step at a time, and we just keep taking one step. And, after some time, we cover a long distance. We keep chanting one round, we're getting, closer to Krishna all the time. So here in this verse, to get back to it a little bit, we're getting a little bit history. The second canto is, it's full of a lot of amazing things. The questions of King Cricket and the rest of the Bhagavatam, just to answer all those questions. So here is Lord Brahma speaking. We have Brahma speaking to Narada. We have the 4 Chatur Slokis coming up in chapter 9, the seed verses of the Bhagavatam that Brahma heard in the heart from Krishna. And one chapter is called the Bhagavatam, the answer to all questions, and things like that. So it's quite a really wonderful canto. So he's saying it was just him. First there was penance, Brahma's tapasya. He somehow became conscious, and he was just there, and he couldn't, there's no one else. He didn't know where he came from. He didn't know what was going on. And he climbed down the lotus and just this unlimited water. And then he heard a sound, but we don't know if it was internal or external, but tapa, do penance. So he meditated. Somehow he knew how to meditate. And for 1,000 years of the demigods, for him, which is not very much. And then he attracted the Lord. Then there were the Prajapatis that he created, because he knew his duty was to propagate the universe. So he created all these Prajapatis, and they were meant to produce more children. They were great sages, generating, and then they had children, and they also had more and more. Then the maintenance, when things are put into place, there's Vishnu and the demigods with controlling powers. And every different planets have kings. Nowadays, planet doesn't necessarily, like Earth planet, it doesn't have a king. We got many so-called kings and many so-called prime ministers and presidents and dictators and whatever they are. But the planet doesn't have a particular king. Nobody's so powerful. There's definitely people that want to be the great reset, and they think they can make themselves the king of the planet. But it's not going to happen. They just fight amongst themselves like it's always been going on. Then at the end, there's irreligion. In Kali Yuga, as the mode of ignorance comes in more and more, they think and that religion is the instrument for destroying the universe by his dancing. His dancing creates like such earthquakes and disturbance, and then everything gets flooded, and hot sun comes, 12 suns, and the atheists are just full of anger, and almost everybody's an atheist. And these are all manifestations of the energy of the Lord. The Lord has unlimited different energies. They're all good, but some of them don't appear to good. So people ask, well, if God is good, how can there be so much suffering? And it's not easy to explain, but it's simple. When devotee hears it, they say, okay. The atheists, they don't like to hear that. But this is our free will. This is described by Bhakti Vinod and Jaiva Dharma, how the free will is the most amazing thing, the most wonderful aspect of the entire creation that makes everything real. If there was no free will, that means, either you were created good or created bad, whatever, you're created a demon or an atheist or you're a devotee, and that's it. You have no choice. It's just like, some game, chess game or something where the players just assign different, well, nowadays it's computer games, with different avatars you create, and they're just nothing. It's just creations of whoever made the game. But it's not like that. We're all part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is supremely independent. Swarat. So we also have independence, but like we have strength, we have wisdom, we have knowledge, we have money, we have power, but it's very, very small. We don't have all the money, we don't have all the knowledge. So we have also free will. Our only free will, though, is really we want to serve Maya, Mahamaya, or Yoga Maya. We want to serve Krishna, and we want to serve the front side or the back side of Krishna. Prabhupada, when asked it, he said, there's evil, so-called evil, it's the backside of Krishna. Because different souls in their rebelliousness, they get mixed up with the mode of ignorance too much, and they misuse their independence. Just like, well, the basic questions Prabhupada had given us, over and over again, that, why is the material world created? Why did God create it? When Giriraj Swami asked Prabhupada that, when he first thing he asked Prabhupada said, he didn't create it, you did. And Giriraj, he was a student, he was studying psychology, and he was he said every time he heard of any sadhu or yogi or something, he would drive far to meet, to hear them speak, but he never could really be satisfied. But when he heard Prabhupada, immediately something happened. So it's like a prison house. When actually, this is an interesting story. One devotee was talking about early days when Prabhupada was, trying to get some idea and trying to develop Mayapur. So the architect Surabi, he made a master plan idea, for a whole big community. And when Prabhupada looked at it and he said, where's the prison? And I thought, well, Prabhupada, we won't need a prison. This is a spiritual, city. And Prabhupada said, no, there'll always be bad people. You have to have prison. So, when you make a city, you make anything, there has to be, police. There has to be law, because there are going to be laws. There's always going to be people that want to misuse their freedom. If they want to, they can break the law. But then they're taking a chance, because the karma will catch up to them. But foolish people think, no, not me. I'll get away with it. I'm very clever. These other fools, they did wrong, but I will make the perfect crime. So that's how we got into this mature world. Krishna created it for us, but the prison ideally is supposed to be for, how do you call it? What's the word? Reformation, correcting. We change, we get purified, and we learn our lesson. That's why the material world is full of suffering. It's not the cruelty of the Lord. He doesn't want it. So therefore, he's given us, religions, scriptures, saintly people, acharyas, incarnates himself to give anyone who's willing, the opportunity to get out and correct themselves. So we want to thank everybody for, attending. And I was listening to class this morning from Mayapur. It was actually yesterday's class, Ramaswar Prabhu, and he mentioned this, New Year's resolutions. Then he asked the devotees, to just quickly say what would be your resolution for the year. So devotees were pretty enthusiastic, and I want to, chant better and establish my relationship with the holy name. I want to distribute more books. I want to do more Harinam. I want, nice, naturally. So then he was saying, go write that down, and then every morning, look at it and remind yourself, this is what I want to do this year. So that's a good idea, this year. And, we could take really difficult vows, try, I'll never criticize a devotee, something like that. If you want to really try for some really difficult activity, for most of us, that'd be very difficult, but very, very purifying. But positive. But I read that they've done some kind of surveys like they do in America about everything. So the question was, what is more beneficial, more positive thinking or less negative thinking? So, we would naturally think, well, more positive thinking, because then it won't be negative. But the conclusion was that less negative thinking, we have to eliminate that. And there's many, many people advising like that. And of course, Prabhupada, he was like positive thinker to the, unbelievable. There's a very nice conversation. There was a lady reporter, and you could tell by that she was quite sincere and submissive. And she was asking Prabhupada, what do you do about negative people? Prabhupada said, what? What? And she's saying, there's people that don't like you. Prabhupada said, why should I think about them? Lots of people like us, like me. Why should I think about people that don't like me? Then he just said, how many books did we distribute last week? And somebody gave a very big number. He said, just see, a lot of people like us. And she was like, you could, at least it seemed to me, she was looking, for herself, because, everybody has that idea that, there's people that don't like me, and especially people that work in companies and stuff. There's so much backbiting, they call it, and, someone trying to get your position and someone trying to knock you out. Sometimes those things filter even into our movement. Like Kaladri Prabhu in New Vrindavan, he said, if you're temple president, you have a target on your back, But, and Prabhupada he just laughed, and, and he said, why should I think about these people that don't like it? I think about the good side. And then finally, this woman just kind of started laughing and said, wow, that's really positive. And she became really happy just, to get pulled out of that. Just stop thinking, I know we can think I'm no good. And definitely, at least for me, there's so many defects, so many things I haven't done, so many things I've done wrong, but if we dwell on those things, we don't get anywhere. We just get stuck in the mud. We don't want to praise ourselves too much either, but just move ahead, Krishna is good. Think about how great Krishna is, how great the parampara is, inconceivable how we could be in such a family. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta, they're all practically everyone in line They're Shakti-based avatars. Obviously, anybody would know, the six Goswamis and their disciples, Narottam and all them. They're all like special people that was obviously just sent by God. At birth, they were recognized by everyone around as something very special. People thought they were demigods, and then we're in that line, So just remember, and we're authorized. We're preaching about Krishna with we're representing these people. It's like if you're a policeman, then you have the power of the government behind you. So if people try to resist the policeman, they get in big trouble. They're going against the whole government. So the policeman himself may not be very powerful, but because he's connected. So we're connected when we preach, when we try to tell people about Krishna, when we spread the holy name, when we try to distribute books and we try to, whatever we're doing, we're representing, we're authorized representatives of the parampara. So Happy New Year. For what is happy, for devotee, what would you call a Happy New Year? Who can say? Anybody in the audience here?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much.
What are you wishing for the next year?
I wish that I may become a better devotee. Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for your wonderful plan. I wish that I become a better devotee, servant of the devotees.
Okay. You want to become I wish I could become a devotee. That would be nice. It's not a cheap thing. But we're all given this opportunity to act like devotees and associate with devotees. Okay. Who else is there?
Kush.
Agisa Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisance is crucial.
Yeah.
My Happy New Year is because it's my birthday, so it's always new for me. When then I can chant Hare Krishna and be happy.
Well, we shouldn't, Prabhupada said we shouldn't be trying to be happy. We want to chant. Wanting happiness is happiness is material. But
because 1st January, when they talk about New Year or birthday, mine is always together. So for me, it's always new. I didn't want more year to my age and beginning of a new year according to the calendar. So for me, it's a mix up New Year.
Africans, Tribhuvannath Prabhu distributed 52 cases of Bhagavad Gita in December. Krishna's mercy.
Wonderful.
Well, in Vrindavan, in Prabhupada's room, and people come in and they sponsor books every day. So some people sponsor like 100 Bhagavad Gitas, things like that. And then the devotees, because he does all this university preaching, they give him the books to give out. So he was able to give out 1,600 Bhagavad Gitas.
That was good.
And now we just got a shipment just arrived in Lagos. I think they haven't all come to the temple yet. Krishna's mercy. All right.
Agisa Maharaj. Bhakti Maharaj is here, Maharaj.
Bhakti dear Damodar Maharaj wants to go.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, I see it.
Please, I said my humble obeisance. We are at the beach, so
no, he's doing great with the food production in Lagos. So much flowers and vegetables, and I think even rice or something. I don't know. Many, many things are growing, and they're just increasing. Thank you very much.
This is your desire. We're trying to follow. So we want to please you.
Here to be so happy And you know, I meant to say something. When I was in Mayapur, I usually go to the Samadhi there to try to get some mercy. And I looked at his Samadhi and I saw it had been 18 years since he left. And
Yeah.
I was really, I couldn't calculate it. It seemed like just yesterday, but 18 years.
Yeah.
And somehow or other, his influence is getting stronger in my observation in West Africa. Devotees are taking up the mission and the mood much better day by day. So, thank you. I can see he's very happy.
Thank you, Maharaj.
All right. So, anyone else? Any answer questions?
Yeah, Maharaj, I have a question.
Blessings.
Yes, Maharaj. It is interesting. The verse we're reading today, here it is being described as the beginning of the creation, and the last sentence in the verse is explaining that these beginnings, these different beginnings, are the manifestation of the energy of the Supreme Lord, power of the Lord. So, and when I was reflecting yesterday about this new year and reflecting on the beginning of the new year as it is being celebrated now, January, I was looking back and I was reflecting, because when you look back at the history of January being the new year, it was actually instituted by Caesar when he took over power in the 59th BC century. And Janus is said to be named after a particular god in the Roman Empire called Janus, which has two heads. And I was wondering, the Brahma has four heads. You see the four directions. And according to the Roman Empire, Janus has two heads, which gives him capacity to be able to see the front and the back simultaneously. Although, unfortunately, modern day Christian does not accept a personality that has more than one head to be divine. So my question is that, how do we relate different beginnings according to historical time? Because the Lord is saying, this is my energy. How do we relate that to our preaching mood? Because Lord Brahma started this particular creation for the particular pastimes, when we understand the pastimes of the Lord. And different beginning of the new year, looking at the appearance of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which Vaishnava calendar starts in March. And Hindu calendar starts in later October, November with the return of Lord Ramachandra. So what are the significance of all these various beginnings as it relates to our devotional life?
Well, of course, Bhutra, Paliyate, these, everything in the mature world is created and destroyed over and over again. All the demigods, all the planets, all the, everything. But we're caught up in it. So it's good to know, we need to know something about it and how we're entangled and how we're so small part of the whole thing. Because, it's very easy to think, well, I'm important. And people aren't, not thinking of the span of time of the universe at all. They're just thinking of their own lifespan, or their own country, or the few hundred years that it's existed. So ultimately, the preaching in one sense has nothing to do with it, but in the other sense, it's understanding, Krishna's position, and Krishna, I am time. So, and then Like if you studied a little bit, you know something about I guess the Roman, but then the Greek and the Norse and African tradition, they all have the same devas, the same demigod with different names, slightly different, you know, basic, the same idea of their position within the universe, usually with not a lot of detail, but basically they're all there. And then we find out like where it's really all coming from, what they really are, because, you know, as the kings were less powerful and Kali Yuga advances and different cultures get cut off, but they have some memory of different things, so it comes up a little bit differently, but the same idea is always there. And then somehow the modern recent so-called Christian or whatever, and they don't accept any demigods or anything, you know, they claim not to, but they believe in angels. They believe in the devil who fell out from the heavenly planets, but you know, they think they don't agree with all this, but
Okay, thank you, Maharaj. If just a quick follow-up with that question. I'm asking this for clarification because according to Vedic historical calculation, Agni Dev has two heads. And when you read about Janus also has two heads. We know that the Vedic culture is the oldest culture in the universe, and everything is descending from that platform. So could we speculatively say, I'm trying not to be speculative, but can we say this God that is known in the Western tradition or Western Roman tradition as Janu may likely be Agni Dev?
yeah, why not? That's what I was saying. They have the same idea, you know, like Zeus is Indra, right? He's got the lightning bolt. And different ones, I don't know exactly all of them, but and in the, you know, we hear mostly about the Greek and the Roman, sometimes the Norse. They all had the same demigods with different names. But then you can, you know, see how they're all some kind of understanding of the devas as we know them from the Vedas. But they don't have four-headed, but they have someone creator. They have, you know, they have the, well, Indra for sure. They always have Indra. Thor in the Norse, and then Zeus. I don't know what else they call them in other, you know, cultures. And as far as I know, in the African tradition, they have all the demigods also. American Indians had the rain god and the sun god and the, you know, this god and the god they worship for harvesting. Everybody had all those, you know. And they also had, which, you know, the Christians didn't understand when they, you know, they also had a supreme God.
Yeah.
But that gets lost, and everybody says, and just like people think that the Vedic culture is just many gods and there's no supreme God, but there is a supreme God. It's monotheistic, but the demigods are servants and assistants.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
So
they're devoted.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's why if you read Jutta Karma's book, The Human Devolution, he gives a lot of examples of all that. Find out all these things from different cultures of the world. They all have the same, they have a flood story. They have many similar types of stories.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Interesting question.
So, dear devotees, if anyone has any question or comments, please kindly indicate by raising your hand using the emoji or physical hand.
Well, let's make it a new year of everybody pulling in the same direction for the benefit of the whole of the society. and not, wanting to serve everybody rather than wanting everyone to serve me. We should be wanting to serve everybody. If we're all in that mood, then we become very powerful and very attractive to people who want to join. If everybody has a humble service attitude.
Okay, Mother, a super chat, please kindly unmute.
Jai, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Happy New
Krishna.
Year, everyone. Please accept my obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your divine service, Maharaj.
Jai, thank you.
Thank you for giving a wonderful explanation. I would like to know the name of the book that you just mentioned and the author.
It's Druta Karma Prabhu. It's called Human Devolution.
Human Devolution.
Yeah, how human, as we are now, have come down from higher instead of evolving up from nothing, which is what they try to teach everybody in modern science. But he's showing how, it's how there's demigods and there's all these originally much greater personalities, and then things degrade as time marches on. It's like he made that book, Forbidden Archaeology, and then that book is huge, so then he wrote another one, and then this one is like a easy, simple understanding, but it's a lot of research, a lot of examples of so many ancient cultures. And
Thank you.
how we have all the similar things, all the same gods and same stories and everything.
Jai Haribol, we are just so very fortunate.
Available on Amazon or different places. It's a great book though.
Jai. Haribol. Hare Krishna.
Haribol,
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mother. So any other question, comments by devotees?
Druta Karma Prabhu is, in my opinion, one of our greatest preachers. Because Prabhupada was so determined to smash Darwin. And Druta Karma took that mission, and even though he went to the university for 3 months or something, and then he joined the Hare Krishnas. But he just took it up, and he's become a prominent archaeologist, without any degrees or anything, but he's invited to speak at all kinds of archaeological conventions all over the world. He gets access to all the archives of all these things, and for researching his books and everything, because he just took this mission of Prabhupada so intensely up. So you can find, Druta Karma, I gotta forget his Karma name, but on YouTube or something, there's just so many interviews with him, so many discussions about his books. And
Maharaj, what did you say his name is again? Judy, are you saying?
Druta Karma.
His name is Michael Cremo.
Michael, what is it?
Michael Cremo.
Cremo, yeah, Cremo. Michael Cremo, that's the name that he goes by in the outside world. And there's many, many interviews with him. He's fascinating. He's an incredible preacher. And he just presents, he's so humble, though. He just presents it in such a simple way. So he's made many, many people wake up and think about, the origin of man, and where, this idea that it's just, such a few numbers of years that humans were civilized, when they find all this evidence all over the world of advanced civilizations, how they can just ignore it. It's ridiculous, Mostly they only look at the pyramids, but You know, nobody can build a pyramid now. Nobody can has any idea how they did it. But it's not only all over the world, there's even bigger pyramids than the ones in Egypt. They find them buried under the, you know, many layers of ground, and whole cities and huge civilizations are finding in the South American jungles, because now they have all these heat sensing drones and everything. And then you just find out that that's all described in the Vedas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj. Haribol, Hare Krishna.
Read Srimad
Haribol.
Bhagavatam and know everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm reading in the 5th canto now. Yes. So
Good.
much,
Okay.
so much. Haribol. Thank you.
Yeah. Is Grace Farah Prabhu, please kindly unmute? And then possible if you're at the temple, please kindly switch on your video.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dandavat Pranam Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. Our Guru is
Joining.
Srila Prabhupada. Happy New
Yeah.
Year. You mentioned that Srila Prabhupada wanted to know.
An Alaskan lady opened a dog daycare center.
Why there was no prison in the plan, Mayapur plan. So, I mean, was that plan followed through? Did they eventually establish prison as part of Mayapur?
As far as I know, they haven't. In the newest master plan, I haven't seen that they put prisons in. But it'd be somewhere, it wouldn't be right, you know, in the middle of everything. It'd have to be, you know, prisons are not supposed to be like right in the middle of everything like they.
Yeah, the reason why I asked.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked, there is a pilgrimage site in Senegal. It's called Touba. It's a Muslim pilgrimage city, and it's more visited even than Mecca. But what everyone comes to say when they visit there is that there's no prison, there's no policeman. So I was wondering why Prabhupada would want a prison in the holy city.
Well, I don't know. Somebody told that story. No, we don't know if Prabhupada was saying put it in, or he was joking, or, you know, because we don't have a follow-up. Many things like that Prabhupada said, and nobody like asked him to explain it, what he really meant. But because the idea was there's always going to be trouble, you know, there's always very unlikely you have a place. Although even now there's some countries where they don't have too much crime, but there's always somebody, you know. And as Kali Yuga is progressing, things are getting more and more crazy. So I don't know about that place in Senegal. That would be, I mean, how old is it?
It's been there for a long time. Very popular city. It's called Touba.
It still exists. It's still functioning as a city, or?
Yes, it's functioning. Actually, there is everything is run from the mosque. It's called Magal, and it's run by the Sufis. So, if you visit there, you have a free place to stay. If by any means you lose anything, or they replace it for you. No police, no nothing, no prison.
Really? Why doesn't it get more publicity in the world?
You check it out, Maharaj, on Google. You'll find it. You'll see so much said about the place.
What's it called?
Touba. Touba.
It's Touba. Touba.
Correct. Touba.
D.
T for table, O for orange, U for umbrella, B for ball, A for apple.
Start over again. First letter.
T for table.
Okay.
O for orange.
Yeah.
U for umbrella.
Yeah.
B for ball. And A for apple.
Tuba. Okay. Sounds good. We should study it then. Because that's ancient tradition. You know, in Japan, the temple owned the land. And people paid taxes to the temple. In Vedic tradition also, you know, every really ancient tradition, it was that, you know, the religion was the ruler. They were the government. And that makes a big difference. So if such a place is going on, I guess that modern kings and stuff, they don't want anyone to know about it. They have army. They don't have an army either.
No army, no police, nothing.
Wow, what's the population?
They have over 500,000 as of 2010 in that city.
Inhabitants, but they have millions of people visiting throughout the year.
More than Makkah, huh?
More than Mecca, right?
Amazing. Do people visit Makkah all the time or only during the Hajj?
They visit Mecca during the Hajj and then Umrah, but that's off Mecca period, but that is not many people going.
Yeah, but the Kumbh Mela, everything goes really smooth also. Even 25 million people trying to take a bath in the same place at the same time. They don't have riots, they don't have murders, they don't have thieves. Quite amazing. It just shows if everything is based around the spiritual, you know, people are working for that purpose, and it makes a whole nother world. So I only heard that story once, but somebody said that. So about the Prabhupada saying, where's the prison? Like I said, there's many things Prabhupada said, and then later we wonder why nobody asked him to explain it. Why? All right. Anything else? I'm going to look it up. Maybe I'll go there. People come from all over the world, or just Muslims, or what is it?
Even this year, over 400 Catholics went there to visit.
Hmm. Okay, well, let's have our temples be like that. New Year.
Thank you very much, Asma, for a question. Any other question, devotees? Question or comment before we let Maharaj go? It's late where Maharaj is now.
Yeah, well, now we got a few more joined. Kavi just came. Somewhere there. So thank you very much then, everybody.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, we request every devotee, everyone to kindly unmute.
You know, we all.
You are muted.
Gumana, you are muted, unmute.
No, somebody muted me. I didn't do it. So,
yes, it was from my head.
Anyway, Kusha Prabhu, you know, for setting this up and finding all the speakers, you know, the devotees I see, they're very, very happy to come and visit Africa in this way by Zooming. And it's been a great boon for the devotees and to be able to contact all these speakers. And one devotee, one of my godbrothers from Germany was speaking, and he was saying he likes to listen. He follows this format because he likes to hear all the speakers that are booked in there. So it's quite a wonderful thing. The technology, is very, it's a double-edged sword, but if you use it right, it can be very, very good for our preaching. But we don't want to eliminate personal getting together either. There's something very special about that. But energy. All right. So if everybody is satisfied.
Okay, so dear devotees, we request everyone to kindly unmute. Let us all loudly chant a loud Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to appreciate His Holiness Kapchana Maharaj for his fatherly guidance.
We just did a Rath Yatra here where I am. Wasn't huge Rath Yatra, but world, how things are changing. I'm in Thailand, and Thailand there's a lot of tourists, and so there's all these, foot massage shops and bars and restaurants, and now marijuana shops everywhere. That's the latest thing. Very opulent shops. So, the world is changing, and when people are desperately looking for some kind of happiness and being misled, and we have the real thing, and we have to give it to everybody. The more you give, the more you get. If we just try to be happy, it'll never work. If you go out to give Krishna to others, and Krishna will give himself to you. Okay, everybody, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhyas bhakta. Nam pavash nevibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. His Holiness Kavicandra Swami Maharaj ki jai. Assembled devotees.